And obviously, people are upset at Lincoln Riley for how he handled the USC drive with 5:10 left in the game. Most people think that he should have run the ball more, and people are going to discuss that until the cows come home. My main point on that is, if you have the ball with 5 minutes left, and of course now in college football we have the 2-minute warning, the mindset for any elite program and any elite coach should not be run the ball 3 times and punt.
That's right.
It should be get a first down.
That's right.
That should be the mindset. And so Lincoln Riley didn't do a good job, but he didn't do a good job because he didn't call plays that gave USC the best possible chance to get a first down. Now Tim talked about the shovel pass that wasn't blocked well, and like it could have worked, but 2 shovel passes. Like why are you going back to that same well a second time? So I'm not having a problem with. Hold on. I'm not having a problem with that he called 1 shovel pass instead he called 2. Like you have to, USC was throwing the ball well to its wide receivers, 10, 12, short intermediate routes, that you don't throw at least 1 such pass in that sequence.
Yeah.
That upsets me that you didn't try to get your wide receivers involved at least 1 time on that series of downs. But here's the other thing about Lincoln Riley that's not getting nearly as much attention and needs to. Wasting timeouts in the 3rd quarter because a play doesn't get in. This happened against LSU. It's happened lots of times in his USC tenure that, a 3rd down play or a 3rd quarter play, I should say, doesn't get in and he burns that timeout before the end game. Look, unless it's 3rd or 4th and inches on a must-score touchdown drive, it is not worth burning that timeout in the 3rd quarter. You save those poker chips for the end. And we saw how much 40 seconds could have benefited USC at the very end. USC could have benefited a ton from having that extra timeout and saving 40 seconds at the very end. You save those for the end. Unless like it's 4th and inches, and you're down 14, and you must get 7 points in the 3rd quarter, except for something really exceptional like that. And this is not just a Lincoln Riley thing. Coaches generally need to restrain themselves from burning that timeout. 5 yards on like a 2nd and 7, 3rd and 4. Like the timeout is not worth the 5-yard penalty in the 3rd quarter. And Lincoln Riley does not understand that. And someone needs to slap him upside the head and give him some real knowledge there. So there are a lot of things where Lincoln Riley has not been professional, and he needs to clean it up.
Okay, so I'll play devil's advocate on that one. Was USC moving the ball really well in that game, in your opinion, Matt? Were we just scoring?
In the 3rd quarter.
USC was in plus a yardage situation. It was a critical 3rd down. It was a 3rd down. It was 3rd and manageable as well. Taking that 5-yard penalty, the problem with USC is there was no pass protection. So you can't throw those medium to long pass plays because they need time to develop. However, if it's 3rd and manageable, then you can. I'm thinking on that is the points are important in this game. It's 3rd down. We're in plus yardage. We need to score here. And our best thing is we're going to they didn't know. I mean, if you want to guess what the 4th quarter is going to be like at the end, you could do hindsight all day long. But at that point, I don't have a problem with them regrouping. If the play's blowing up, he's having trouble getting the signal, they have a look they don't like, it's an important 3rd down, I don't have a problem with timeout there. It worked out that it bit him in the ass, but at that point, it might be the prudent play, in my opinion, Matt. I mean, you're entitled to your opinion. The second part is the funny thing was the second shovel pass that you're upset about was the one that was going to be. Go back, anyone. I challenge anybody. Go look at that play. They show it from behind. If Mason Murphy steers that guy outside, he's running. He's definitely getting a first down. So I have to disagree on both points, to be honest with you. I don't see as agrees. I certainly don't want people slapping Lincoln Riley upside the head. I think there's one thing I am not
metaphor.
I'm not gonna question, and I won't. And I kind of roll my eyes at anybody. I have mad respect for you, Matt, when it comes to football. But anybody out thinking Lincoln Riley, he did say he regretted that series of calls. But if we're gonna sit here and play again, Monday morning quarterback and look at what happened later on in the game, that's fine. I think on both those things, I see your point about the timeouts. In general, I agree with you. I think specifically in that game, under those circumstances, I do think points were at a premium, and to waste a drive when things weren't right and just take the 5-yard penalty, that's probably a difference between a legitimate shot at a first down and not getting a first down, in my opinion.
Trojan Conquest comes your way each and every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. where it counts on the West Coast, of course. And we're here again every Tuesday. Matt and Tim take your calls on Fridays, and Matt alluded to last week's show, or the wrap-up show, actually, after the game on Sunday. And if you didn't check it out, I took it all in, and it was a great conversation that Tim and Matt had with all of you. So don't miss the Friday show, of course, the call-in show that we do here at the Voice of College Football with Matt and with Tim. There are memberships to the channel, folks. You get the choice cuts with Matt and I sitting down for 30 minutes per topic. We've got about 17 of those released, so please check out those. Also, yes, thank you for that, John. Completely slipped my mind, even though it's sitting right in front of me. To be released on October 29th, Disputed National Champions, your college football's historical 1990s reset. And we will talk more about that as the date looms, but you can get that on Amazon starting October 29th. Thank you for the reminder, John.
Congratulations, Mark.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Was a labor of love, that's for sure. Talking college football history, as you well know. All right, guys. Anything else we need to clean up from Ann Arbor, or looking ahead to the Badgers?
No, I'm looking forward to a home game. I'm not going to lie. I love being at the game, but that travel, I'm not flying a charter flight. Like I went on the go visit the family cheap route, and that really kicked my ass. I'll tell you what, travel. If football teams in the old Pac-12 had to travel like I did, yeah, then I could see it being a problem. But hopping on a charter flight, landing there, going to a hotel, I don't think that's much of a problem for these kids.
We do have a couple super chats we need to hit. My bad here. Our buddy Adam checking in as usual. Adam, we so much appreciate you. Number one, Orgy is an utter disgrace, and Sharon keeping him as the starter is shocking. Mm-hmm. Number two, USC's offensive line was dominated. Number three, we need more depth at running back. Fourth, we need to improve the run defense. And number five, Rutgers is going to challenge us.
Okay. Tim, go ahead.
Okay. So I think Orgy played a great game. I mean, he's a limited guy. He led his team to an upset victory. So I don't know if we can call him an utter disgrace.
And it's certainly better than 3 interception against Arkansas State, Davis Warren. So
well, I mean, yeah, any other quarterback, I believe, like obviously we have to play it on the field, but I believe that they started any other of their quarterbacks healthy at their peak, USC probably smokes them. I think Orgy, they didn't have tape on him. He maximized his ability. It wasn't Orgy that was effective as a statistical thing, but it was a threat of his run that really made that thing work. Kind of kept SC off balanced early. They figured that out, and that's why I talked to some of the Michigan guys. I talked to TJ, and I said it was like in some DMs, and I said, you guys are going to have to sort out the quarterback situation, because now that there's film on that, it's not just USC that can shut it down. There will be other teams that are talented that are going to shut down the offense. They're going to need they're going to have to develop some kind of a pass play, because they've shown that they can run. I mean, USC's run defense. Again, I'm going to disagree with that. I think it's pretty solid. It's definitely leaps and bounds better than it has been in the past. But I mean, I'm very happy with our run defense. There was again, is anyone here, if either one of those guys make that tackle, is anyone saying that our run defense is bad? And the answer is going to be no. We're not. We're looking at 3 plays that count, and they count on the scoreboard, but questionable blocking as well. You can't do anything about that. But I think overall USC's run defense was solid. O-line was dominated, but again, we're not going to face a line like that the rest of the year. We won't face an opponent on the road. I mean, anyone that said that the big house is Michigan Stadium is quiet. I mean, I don't know if it's that loud for every game, but I'll tell you what, that last drive USC had the ball was among, not really, but it's up there with some of the louder stadiums I've ever heard in my life. They were really into it. So, Matt, your thoughts?
So USC's O-line was dominated. Well, hey, again, here's the thing for USC's season as a whole. Should be able to handle Wisconsin even without playing their best football. Should be able to handle Minnesota even without playing their best football. Can Josh Henson get this offensive line to an elite level for Penn State? That's the season right now. That's the ball game. That's the big picture. Josh Henson has 3 weeks to get this thing fixed. Like USC's offensive line can be, ordinary, ho-hum, so-so, and still manage against these next 2 opponents. But Penn State's going to require elite performance from the offensive line. So Josh Henson has 3 weeks. That's what I'm going to say about the offensive line. Depth at running back, hey, Woody Marks, we have not talked about that play. He runs down Grant from behind, strips the ball away. Like that was, George Teague against Lamar Thomas in the 1993 Sugar Bowl, Miami, Alabama. Just an epic, epic play. And it's really unfortunate USC didn't win because we would be framing that play. Kind of the way the Barry Krause, Alabama stuff of Penn State in the 1979 Sugar Bowl. That play is framed everywhere in Tuscaloosa. This play would have been framed everywhere in Los Angeles if USC had won. But Woody Marks, when I wrote my USC report card at Trojans Wire, he's the only guy who got a straight A from me. Like that was just an epic play. Guy gave everything he had. So with Marks and Joyner, I think, Adam, USC's in a really good spot at running back. We need the offensive line to block for them. And we need the offensive line to enable everything to come together. Need to improve run defense? Well, yeah, like just don't give up 50-yard plays and you're good. Like everything else was fine. Like in 85, 90% of the snaps were fine. Just don't give up the explosives. So, just like that's fixable. And that's very realistic and attainable for USC. Okay, Rutgers is going to challenge us. Short week? Yeah, after a road trip to Maryland, probably so. But if USC's offensive line is up to the job, then that's going to happen. Now, want to say one other thing, not to beat a dead horse. I'm going to do something very specific here. I'm not going to criticize people who called Kamari Ramsey a disgrace. Just want to educate some folks here. All right, the word disgrace, right? That's for Bernie Madoff. That's for Jeffrey Dahmer. That's for Teddy Kaczynski. That's for like the villains who should live in infamy. All right. Disgrace. That is a weighty word. Also abomination. Like that is for the Bible. That's for like the worst biblical sins that have been committed in human history. Those are heavy words. Okay. Yeah. Just not criticizing here. This is just education here at the Voice of College Football, or the voice of Merriam-Webster, maybe. There are certain words that carry a certain extra weight and stain. We can find much more moderate words to describe those things. Kamari Ramsey, appallingly bad form, okay? Terrible technique, bad situational discipline, all right? Like we can dress him down without using, Book of Job words, or just like talking about it as though he committed the worst biblical sin, like he slaughtered 10,000 innocents, all right, or that he defrauded millions of elderly widows. That's disgrace. When you destroy lives, he missed a friggin' tackle, and he should have made it, but he missed a friggin' tackle. Disgrace is when you destroy a population, you ruin a whole community. That's disgrace. That's abomination. Again, not criticizing education, which we value at USC.
And Moosh, you sent me a bunch of pictures, and I'm sorry. I mean, hands it wouldn't be face masks. That would have been a hands in the face. And at best case, you're looking at offsetting penalties, and they got to rerun that play. And this time, you don't get to hold Lucas, and he's probably going to smash your fullback. Also, I forgot my point because I'm covering that one. Oh, you talked about Woody Marks. I missed the picture. I'm dying that I did. It was out of focus. early in the game, Woody Marks, there was a throw by Miller Moss, but I thought there was no way Woody's going to catch it. He reaches down by his ankle, one-handed, and pulls it up and in. This guy's on a 48-game streak of receptions. So, Woody's playing out of his mind.
Absolutely. I was super impressed. I made the comment a couple of weeks ago that he didn't do anything at Mississippi State that stood out to me. I knew he was a good player. If you start in the SEC and you go out to USC and you're in line as the number one running back, obviously you can play, but nothing that stood out to me. But yeah, that that play aside, that was stellar against Kenneth Grant. Just his duties as a running back and a pass receiver, exceptional game out of Woody Marks, absolutely. And I think we had one other super chat to get to. I do believe Brian coming back with this one. Same play on 4th and goal. Defender had hands in the face of the lineman. That's the play that Moose brought up.
And so then you have offsetting penalties. It was called correctly. You might have a chance of, it's called even less than holding is hands to the face by an offensive lineman. So, on defensive lineman. So, good luck with that one. That one happens more than holding. We know holding plays on almost every play. Look, it's really simple. It's truly shameful that you guys can't say, we got away with a couple. Would it kill you to say that? Because that's probably far more accurate than complaining and calling people whiners. Nobody here is saying you guys didn't win the game. Nobody here is saying that you guys didn't make the plays. And no one really saying here that if SC makes the tackle, we're talking a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, like no one said that those plays decided the game. Like we didn't write any of that at Trojans Wire. I know I didn't. So like we noted the bad calls, but we didn't say it decided the game and that USC didn't make the final few plays it needed to make. Like that's been clear from our Trojans Wire coverage. And if you've been reading our site, like we never said those calls decided the game. Never, ever. Didn't even hint at that. We talked about USC not making the final few plays it needed to make.
But like I said, I'm glad the lights came off and all the Wolverine fans came back because you guys scurried away for about a week and a half. I'm glad to see all you guys coming back in force to tell us how great you are and how you dominated, because good job.
As for the Rutgers point, I've got a lot of respect for Greg Schiano. He's done a great job for a second time at Rutgers, no doubt. There's a lot of limitations there. I actually took in the 30-minute cut down of their game against Virginia Tech. They should have blown them out of the stadium. They had 2 chances to extend a 23-7 lead to 2 more touchdowns, let Virginia Tech back in the game. But there's a decided talent gap there, of course, in USC's favor. Rutgers also plays the week before at home. So I was checking for a bye week for Rutgers. They've got to come out on a short week to the West Coast. That's a tough ask for them as well. So I just really want to see this Penn State game because I think that's going to be a tremendous matchup because they're very similar to Michigan. I'm not going to go through every position unit and call out the pluses and minuses on either side. But obviously they got a guy in Drew Aller who I'm going to disagree respectfully with Keep Chopping in the chat. I'm not going to elevate Drew Aller quite to the top 2 or 3 status quarterback slot in the country. He's not that good or has yet to show it, but 5-star, he can spin it. He can play if he's got his head screwed on and he's learned some things from last season. So there will be a passing threat. It's not dynamic, but it's going to be a heck of a game between those two.